I'm here in studio with State Representative Joan Meschino of Hull on this cold January day, the beginning of the year. Hey, thanks for joining us today.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Happy to come out. And just want to wish everyone out there a Happy New Year.
Mm-hmm. And we did when we were last on together in December, did a quick recap of what had happened over the year. But I figured, New Year, you folks all just took your oath of office and got sworn in a week ago.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
What's
that like?
Oh, you know me. I'm not really much of a ceremony kind of girl. But I have to say that it really is a wonderful inauguration when you take the oath of office. It's to have everybody in the chamber, all of the hope and promise of the start of the new session, all of the new colleagues, everyone's so energized and really looking sort of forward towards the positive, and then to actually stand there and take the oath of office that so many other people have before me. It's really a humbling moment, and listen, I'm just honored. It's really a privilege to represent the district.
And what term is this for you again?
Oh my gosh, this is my 5th term. Can you believe it's been 8 years? It's been 8 years since we first met. Yeah,
my goodness. And then some people who are not coming back or stepping down or retiring, don't they usually say something too at the end sometimes?
There was quite a few people who stepped away this term and just retired after many years of public service, and as they always get an opportunity to give a farewell speech. And I went in person, and I have to say the speeches, the theme was public service of people, and reflecting over the years on the relationships among the members and with their communities and with residents. And it was really a special moment this time around when they did that in December.
That's terrific. Now, when it comes to filing bills, again, getting into a new session, what's on your agenda this time?
So we're in bill filing session right now. So if you have any hot ideas, give your state rep or senator a call. One of our tried and trues we're going back to is the community media centers. So we got that out of committee last time, and so we're filing the language that's already been agreed to. And what I'm hoping for is we'll have more of a runway to really get that across the table. And I'm partnering, since Matt Muratori stepped away, I'm partnering now with someone on the North Shore, a new rep, Margaret Scarsdale. So re-energizing our efforts there, and I am determined. But we're also continuing to do our climate change work. As you know, that's been a theme for me throughout. So we'll be looking at how we heat buildings. We'll be looking at how we conserve natural and working lands and protect spaces like our watersheds. So that'll be exciting. We're going to take another run at our climate bank because everybody should be participating. And I just feel really strongly that we make inexpensive money available to regular folks like you and me so that we can avail ourselves of things like Mass Save and all of these different programs to make improvements in our homes. So that'll be pretty exciting. And then, of course, one of your favorites, too, is the youth voter engagement.
Yes, where is that? And just explain to our listeners exactly how that would work.
So obviously, civic engagement is hugely important to democracy. And we know that if you have a positive first voting experience, that you will become a lifelong voter. So the idea is that it's an eligibility thing. So if you are going to be 18 and you're going to be able to vote in, say, a presidential election, you should also be able to vote in the primary for your candidate. So we got it to 3rd reading. So we've gotten a favorable reports. We've gotten it pretty far, but we just need to do a little bit more advocacy to get that one across the finish line. And we're not changing the age of voting. We're just saying if you're going to be voting in that general election, you should be able to vote in that primary. And I'll tell you, the way the civic engagement has been coming out of was inspired by the bill we passed a couple of sessions ago. The civic engagement projects in our districts are off the charts amazing. These kids, they are smart, they are engaged, they are bright, and they're thinking about it. I think it's a really timely bill.
And it wouldn't be a standalone bill just in this state. It already is like this in several other states.
Yes. I think there's at least 17 or 18 other states that have passed this and are utilizing it very successfully. It's a small number of kids that it would impact, but I think it's symbolic and meaningful, and it speaks to the kind of civic engagement and participation in democracy that Massachusetts has always valued.
And I just was speaking of participation, I want to jump back to the community media centers. For people that are not familiar with that, Why is this such an important bill? I feel it is for a number of reasons, but if you could explain to our listeners what exactly is in that bill.
Well, so it's a funding stream to try to create a steady, stable funding stream for all of our public cable access channels, the PEG channels. Again, it really speaks to democracy, to engagement, to citizens being able to, the transparency, keep an eye on what's going on your select boards, or actually listen in on, the initiatives or the programming. I mean, there's amazing programming. I look at Harvard Media, and they're actually training the next generation of people doing both creatives and production, and so it really speaks to that hyper-local news sources, programming sources that we're just not getting anymore. The weekly papers are gone. The Patriot Ledger is so thin. I mean, thanks to WATD for trying to stay hyperlocal, but there's only so much things you can do.
That's true.
And it really it's just that core. And right now, the funding stream is drying up as people are switching over to new sources of media, entertainment media. So we're just looking for to wrap in that sort of next generation of technology. They should be paying into this as well.
Right, and we're not talking a lot of money either.
Oh,
it's a very small fee.
It's a small fee.
Excuse me.
As a matter of fact, it will be less expensive. It would be a smaller fee on the streaming services than it is on the cable services, because it's a percentage. It's 5%. So it's just tiny. It's a small thing, but in the aggregate, it's very powerful.
There you go. Absolutely. And I know this has been something that you've been very, very involved with. And I hope it goes through, because we do a lot of joint partnerships when we have political forums, et cetera, and have the community media in here. I think it would just be another nail in the coffin of local news.
Oh, I think so too. And then what is the trusted source of local information, local news? I mean, it's gone. And we lead busy lives. You have to be able to turn to someplace that you can rely on, and something that's personal and unique and valuable to you as a user.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know you've spoken before about access to justice. What does that mean?
So this bill is about standing in court to bring a right of action if government has made a policy, a program, a law that's good on its face, well-intentioned, but has a discriminatory effect. And it's called a disparate impact. For the lawyers out there will know what I'm talking for. But what it just means is that even if there wasn't an intent to discriminate, you can still bring a case to change that regulation, to change that rule. And I just think it's very important now, in particular around all of the environmental justice things that we're talking about, all the climate action, was what inspired me to file it. But it would be anything, housing, employment, anything.
Give me an example, what that, in layman's terms, what it would mean.
So you're allowed to bring claims for discrimination for anything based on a protected characteristic. We're both women. So if we're discriminated in our employment settings because we're women, we can bring a claim if it was done intentionally. Mm-hmm. And what we're saying now is that, and this was the case up until a U.S. Supreme Court case in 2001, the Sandoval case changed this. And what we're saying is that right now, it has to have intent to discriminate. Mm-hmm. That is incredibly hard to document. It's incredibly hard to prove. So what we're saying here is when it's government, and only when it's government, if it's a government rule, a government law, and there's no intent, it was actually probably put in place for a good reason, a positive reason, you can still make that claim if it ended up having a discriminatory effect on you, an impact on you. So it's just about being able to make a claim in a court of law in the state. And, it's not really about damages per se or trying to get some big settlement. What it is it's a way to say, this is having a discriminatory effect on me, and how to change the law and how to get government to listen to you. So it's as much about a transparency thing, as some of the themes that we've been hearing from the public lately. And it's just about being able to go into court and say, I've been wronged, and I know you didn't mean it, but this is the impact and the effect it's had on me. And government, you need to fix your policy or your rule or your procedure.
A lot of good information here.
Yeah.
Again, State Representative Joan Meschino of Hull, just newly sworn in again for you've been in office for 8 years now.
I know. I have to say, it has gone by in a flash, and I've really enjoyed public service tremendously, and I'm excited to continue and working with my district and serving the people of Hingham, Hull, and Cohasset in Massachusetts.
If people want to get in touch with you and or your office, what's the best way to do that?
So everyone's welcome to call 617-722 2092. There we go. And a very nice young man, my legislative aide, Harrison, will answer. But you're also welcome to email me at joan.meschino@mahouse.gov. And you should be in touch with your state representatives. If it occurs to you to ask a question, come to our office hours. We all post it on our websites. Call our office, email our office. If it occurs to you to ask us a question, please do, because it might be important.
That's terrific. And again, we've got State Representative Joan Meschino. Thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.